This episode is brought to you by FX's Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's Feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Hello, I'm Ann Harder. Welcome to Central Texas Living, the podcast. We're coming up on the fall, and it's a favorite time for fairs and festivals. And one of the more charming ones on the calendar is coming up the first weekend in October in Salado. It is Sirena Fest. Joining me now, Tiffany Schreiner and KD Hill. Tiffany, the creator, really, of Sirena Fest, of this event. KD, the owner of Barrow Brewing Company in Salado. And I know one of the big supporters and sponsors of all things Sirena. But first of all, what is Sirena?
Well, hi, Ann, first of all. I don't get to see enough of Ann, so when I see Ann, I get real excited. Sirena is, well, she's many things, and I think she means different things to each of the sort of souls who finds inspiration in her. She is based on a Native American legend, and Troy Kelly is the sculptor of our Sirena. He's a famed sculptor and happens to live in the heart of Salado, and he gifted her a sculpture of her to Salado in the 70s or 80s. I always get it wrong. I'm a child of the 70s, so I'm just going to go with the 70s. And so she used to be nestled in our springs, and people from all over the world would come to visit her. She's a dainty, tiny yet mighty mer siren, and has become a beacon and an iconic symbol for, I think, resiliency, to be quite honest, if you're asking me. But she was certainly the source of inspiration for our Mermaid Parade and Festival in Salado, and really because I just love children so much, and I fell head over heels with my daughter when she was little, and still am, even though she's 14 now.
They do grow up.
I know, without our consent. And you know, she's and on that note, you know, watching our children grow up is so bittersweet, and I'm watching her now have this heart of philanthropy because of it. She's not as much these days willing to dress up in her mer flair that she was when we first started this, but she certainly still believes in it, my Harper, and in a different way. She's maturing in her endeavors there. But now we've, you know, it started out. We hoped, Katie and I hoped it. First of all, it would not exist without Katie Hill. That's for sure, and Graydon and Barrow. But our first year we were like, we hope 20 people show up, and I think 2,000 showed up our first year.
Yeah, it's hugely successful. Katie, as a business owner in Salado, Tiffany, you mentioned resiliency, and really Salado has had to be resilient. You had a really tough time when the construction of the highway just sort of decimated the town. I mean, It's awful.
It was a nightmare for 4 or 5 years, and Barrow Brewing Company opened right in 2016 during the middle of I-35 being ripped apart and all of our exits changing and people being really confused. And then once that was finished, our main street got torn up, but it was all for the best because now we have these beautiful sidewalks.
Sidewalks are great.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about a transformation. It feels like a different town. But when Tiffany came to me and said, I want to do a mermaid festival, we need to be celebrating Sirena. I was like, why hasn't this been done forever?
Yeah, this should be the 50th annual.
Yes. Like, you know, like so many people in Central Texas, I grew up visiting the springs, visiting the mermaid, knowing the legend and falling in love with Sirena and Salado. And so Barrow Brewing Company is located right next to the spring where she used to be in the water. And it's just a beautiful space with the water and the field and the trees and now the beer and the live music and the festive atmosphere. So I think we're just honored to be the host for Sirena Fest year after year and to support the cause. We actually, I don't know if I should talk about this, but we have a beer that's named after the legend.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's called, we went to Troy Kelly and Jackie Mills, who worked with Troy Kelly on writing the children's book about the legend of Sirena. And they were all for it. They said yes. So we actually named a beer the Evil Catfish after the catfish in the legend of Sirena, and put the legend, a small short synopsis of the legend on the cans.
On the can.
So wherever we're distributing Barrow Brewing Company's beer, the Evil Catfish IPA, it's spreading the legend of Sirena. So we're really proud because Sirena and the legend of Sirena, this, tale of love and resiliency and what's that called when you transition into something better?
Yeah, you metamorphosize.
Yes. It's getting spread.
And that's what's happening really with Sirena Fest, which how many years have you done it now?
Well, I first began dreaming of it when I was a little girl, and I'm not going to tell you how long that's been, Anne. But Harper's now 14, and it really started for me when she was 2. So
Really?
12 years I've been dreaming of it. I got the courage, if that's what you want to call it, to tell KD about it probably 8 years ago, and then we launched it 5 years ago.
Yeah, and it has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And then we had COVID.
Yeah. Stupid COVID.
So, but back in person
Yes.
this year.
That's right.
When does it all start? I've been saying the first weekend in October.
Yeah, it is. It's all day on October 2nd. Yeah, I recommend people come in on Thursday, just taste all that you can of the best of Salado and savor it. And then you get this Mermaid Festival, unlike any other. And you get to be along some of the prettiest real estate in Salado, or in Texas for that matter, which means the world, really, translation. And that's Barrow Brewing's property. I mean, Katie and Graydon and Barrow have become the heart and the heartbeat of Salado. And if somebody wants to, I think it is the best.
Well, you're right there with Salado Glassworks, of course, right across the way, very close to the Stagecoach Inn.
Sure.
And, of course, the museum is right there. Dave Swarthout, and
Mm-hmm.
he knows everything there is to know about Salado. And what's really cool is that when I was there not too long ago, something new, and that's these new signs that point you to all the very historic locations in Salado. And there's some pretty significant old buildings and points of interest.
Yes.
For folks, like more than
Salado,
40 of them.
It's on the Chisholm Trail, and there are markers, if you know where to look, that say, here is where the Chisholm Trail was. Here is where people crossed the creek. And we have some beautiful buildings, including the museum, its original structure, the Stagecoach Inn, the Tyler House, the Holly House, go up Royal, and then you have the Yellow House. Oh, and the Baines House, where LBJ's grandparents lived. It's just amazing. We have some cabins in town. There's so many historical
And College
structures.
Hill.
Oh, how can
Of
you
course,
forget?
right,
Yeah.
college. So it was the first co-ed college, I understand.
incredible is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Texas.
I mean, the fact that people in Salado were all about women and equality and education from the very start is just a beautiful legacy that we are getting to carry on.
Fits with the legend of Sirena as well.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to put your Stagecoach Inn hat on.
Okay.
Because you were director of outreach there.
Yes.
And it talk about an historic place. And I've talked to people who go, well, I haven't been in a while. Is the food the same? Those kind of questions. So how do you respond to them?
Well, first, I'd like to say that Stagecoach Inn has become one of the primary sponsors and supporters of Sirena Fest and our mission to, first of all, build an all-abilities park. And we've already raised the bulk of our funds to do that.
That's exciting.
So, Sirena Fest is all about celebrating children, ingenuity, creativity, and most importantly, inclusivity. And Stagecoach has been just a beautiful supporter of that, along with Tito's Vodka and their philanthropic arm, and along with Salado Sawmill and Barrow. I have to do those plugs because I just believe in them so much.
Sure,
also.
yeah.
And they've been such beautiful friends to us along the way. If I'm being fully honest, not only do I get to do this work with Stagecoach, which I wholeheartedly believe in, and with Barrow and with Sirena Fest and Tito's and Salado Sawmill, but I just get to be with so many beautiful souls because of it. So, I don't consider it work anymore. I consider it my calling, and I'm going to cry.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the All Abilities Playground, because you've been on this podcast before. You've been on Central Texas Living, the TV show. We talked about that. She is tearing it. We need Kleenexes in here.
And you're breaking me.
I didn't. You did it to yourself.
This is true.
But we did get to hear at the fashion show recently the mom of an 11-year-old boy who had cancer and lost his leg.
It was
to
incredible
cancer.
to hear from her.
And to hear from her what it meant for him as a child to be able to go to a playground and not have those little wood chips and stuff that you can't roll a wheelchair on, just some basic things that allow all children to be able to enjoy it. So you're telling me that the money has been raised and you're about ready to get this.
Yes, we're ready to get this show on the road. We've gotten a grant now with, like I said, Tito's Vodka and their philanthropic arm called Love Tito's is our biggest supporter to date, other than of course Barrow Brewing, and because of that and because of our team's efforts, and we've had different teams, the changing of the guard, over the last few years, but every single bit of love and effort that's been poured into it has been it enabled us to apply for a grant with Texas Parks and Wildlife and partner with the village in applying for the grant and the village of Salado, and not the village people. Though, I'm open to that too.
They'd be welcome.
Yes, inclusivity at its finest. We were able to apply for a really substantial grant with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and that is what it has put us now.
Oh, good.
In a place where we're ready to build as soon as just all the proper channels are sort of navigated well. And let's break some ground, people.
Yeah, a lot of things going on, though. Katie, you were telling me about a grant that you were just...
Right. The village of Salado recently started giving grants to organizations and businesses in the town that are putting heads in beds, creating these events that will bring people to Salado and keep them so that they'll spend the night and, spend multiple days in town shopping and eating, exploring and experiencing all of the art that there is in town. And it's a wonderful thing. And we were a recipient of some of those grants. And our first event is October 16th, and we're currently advertising for that. It's a bicycle ride. We call it a Volks ride because it's during Oktoberfest. And we started it during COVID because it was something that we could do to raise money for our Sweet Fire department as while still social distancing. We started it during COVID.
And it's outside. It's great, yeah.
Yeah. So we're really lucky that the Village of Salado is stepping up to support businesses and organizations and all of the lodging options that are in town. It's a win-win in my thinking for everyone involved. It helps with our tourism department, and it helps the B&Bs and the hotels. You were asking about the Stagecoach Inn, and it's just gorgeous. They've done so much work. I want to tell your listeners, if you haven't visited the Stagecoach Inn recently, it's beautiful. They, paid so much attention to detail in the renovations, and they're still renovating. And I just met the new GM, and the staff is so sweet and incredible. And I've never had a bad meal. I had breakfast there on Sunday before the fashion show.
Yeah.
And I would eat there every day if I could.
Oh yeah, well the hush puppies alone are amazing. Yeah, and a lot of the things that you remembered from years past of going to the Stagecoach Inn to eat are still there on the menu.
Strawberry kiss all the way, all day.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful place to certainly to visit. A lot of great bed and breakfasts there.
Oh yes.
And homes that people open up for visitors to come and stay, and that's what makes a trip to Salado really such a retreat. And yet you don't have to travel a really long distance.
Right. Yeah, that's right. It's a staycation in a way because you don't have to go that far, and such a respite, but in such a recharge. But I think also, and I'm speaking for me, but I certainly feel like on my best days in Salado, it's soul food. It really is. The Creek, Barrow, all of our artists and artisans who are so talented, Benton's Jewelry. They're amazing. I could hang out in there all day.
I know. Beautiful things.
Lonnie Edwards and Troy Kelly and the Prelip Gallery and
Ronnie Wells.
And
Michael Pritchett. Yeah.
And Christie's, and Soulless. And
yeah, you could go on and Be Heard, Tyler Fletcher. There are so many creatives and artists in town. That's one of the reasons that we came to Salado, and seeing all of these creatives doing what they loved, and just blood, sweat, and tears. We always talk about how Salado means salty, and it's the salt from all these people giving it. They're all working so hard.
Our sweat.
But they truly have. Well, let's talk a little bit more, Katie, about what brought you to Salado.
Well, I grew up in Florence, and when my husband and I married, we wanted to come back to Central Texas where all of my family was. My best friend lived in Salado, and it had been our dream to live down the street from each other. This is probably TMI, but we made it happen. My best friend and I got to live down the street from each other and drink coffee in the morning, and it was just a dream come true. So from the start, Salado was a place where I could put down roots. I'd been in the Air Force and just, wanted to give back to a community that I had planned on being in for a long time. So I started volunteering, and then my husband decided he didn't want to be an airline pilot anymore. He wanted to open a brewery. So
was that a surprise to you when he said that?
Gosh, I had to do a lot of praying and a lot of drinking. No, I'm kidding. But he had a plan, and I believed in him. So after a lot of research and looking around, our real estate friend came to us. There was a property not even on the market, and he said, I think I have something for you. And so everything just worked out. We were able to change the law in Salado in order to open a brewery.
Was it dry?
It was dry for beer without a restaurant license. We didn't want to do a restaurant.
Right.
And so the wine lobby in Texas is a lot stronger than the beer lobby. So you could have wineries in Salado. At the time that we moved to Salado, there were 4 wineries in town, but you couldn't have a brewery. So we had to tweak that law. And it was a good thing that we had to do that, because the word got out that we were planning and hoping to do this, and people got behind us and supported it. And, I tell people all the time, it takes a village. Like that's what Tiffany says all the time too. It takes a village, and it took a village to make this brewery happen. And we've always been really appreciative of the support. And, through this pandemic, so many places had to shut their doors or close, and we were able to continue. We kept our staff on, and, we didn't have to let anyone go that didn't want to go. And it was a miracle, and it was all because of the support of our community. So whenever there's a chance for us to give back, to host something like Sirena Fest, we're going to do it.
So how many are you expecting to come? Do you have any idea?
It's so hard to say, Anne, this year with the pandemic and everything, but I'm just shooting with kind of our ballpark number pre-COVID, and so I'm shooting for like 2,500, 3,000. So it's also hard to say because we've postponed the parade. We normally have pre-COVID, we normally have a darling, the most darling ever in the universe, Mermaid Parade that spills into the festival. And it really celebrates inclusivity and children of all abilities and creativity, and just an explosion to me of like the best things in life. And we're not doing that this year, but we'll certainly be doing it next year.
Yeah, it's like baby steps. So we're going to take baby steps back to normalcy. So with the other events that we've hosted at Barrow during this last year, we've definitely seen a drop in attendance. But I just read on Twitter, Governor Abbott said hospitalizations due to COVID are down for the first time in 3 weeks.
Good job.
So that's good news, and hopefully it keeps trending that way. The last thing that we want to do is to be, a breakout space.
Right.
No,
you don't want to.
Well, we're outdoors, and we're encouraging masks. And, with the vaccines, obviously we're keeping that in mind.
Yes.
And there'll be sanitation stations.
Yes.
And we've got our awesome Salado Fire Department to help us with things. And so
yeah, we feel pretty good about being outdoors during these times. And
we also have the land across the creek as well. The
Salado
Salado
it's going to be spread out.
Is being donated as well.
Okay, so you have vendors there?
We do.
Yes.
Yes.
So people have booths and things to eat, and I mean that's what I recall from before.
Yes, ma'am. We do have vendors. Again, looks a little different because of the pandemic. We're spacing out more. We've got Tito's is coming, and they'll be there with a lot of fun. We've got our stilt walkers. We've got live mermaids. We've got the Salado High School cheerleaders coming to help with a lot of things. They're so great about supporting us. And the sky's. We've got I call it the Mer Caddy. What do you call it?
I call it the Magic Caddy Fish.
Yeah.
The Magic Caddy Fish. It's a Cadillac.
That's Serena Blue.
Yeah.
And it's like a 19. What year do you think that is?
56.
It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
Everybody loves to take pictures with it, and so they'll take pictures with the mermaid or the stilt walkers there in front of the
Aquaman is coming back.
Aquaman is coming back.
Oh,
and
really?
People love Aquaman. I mean, and he's the best. He's the best.
Gorgeous.
He's way better than Jason Momoa for sure. And lots of circus artisan type things. We've got I'm calling it kind of a petting zoo pet parade type thing
Yes,
happening.
yeah. There's a petting zoo coming, as well as possibly like some, are they Clydesdales?
Draft horses.
Draft horses.
Really? Draft
Yes.
that fits right in with the brewery. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Think of another big brewery that.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But not as cool.
But not as cool.
We have a bubble
absolutely.
magician coming. And
Andy Anderson and his horse.
Yes.
Oh, is he good?
Yeah.
His cowboy renegade team.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you've just got lots of stuff. And this is just a one-day event?
It
It is. I know people, I know they're like,
You
could you
got a
do
lot
3
packed.
days? And I'm like, I don't know about
You
that.
almost
We
need 3 days.
Well, we need more volunteers and sponsors if we want
Yeah.
a multi-day event.
Yeah.
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 But
Always need more volunteers.
It all
Always need
gets
more sponsors.
started on the 2nd of October.
That morning.
That morning.
10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And usually what we see is nap time hits hard around 2:30.
Real hard.
Yeah.
Yep. Solid pause.
Yeah, but vendors will be out, entertainers will be out until about 5 o'clock. We'll have live music from 10 to 5 with some entertainment, a pet parade, and local
The Salado
twirlers.
Starlets, I think, are doing
I
something
think so too. Yes, there's a lot going on, and then everything kind of fades away as nap time hits.
And the Temple veterans, Temple VA, will be coming to show their all ability sports teams too. I think they call it their.
Really?
I think they call it their adaptive sports team. They came 2
That
years
is cool.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love them. They're so awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad they're coming back.
Yeah.
It's incredible, these wheelchairs that they have. And, you know, our VA, we're so blessed to have a VA close,
The one in
close
Temple.
by.
Yeah.
Yes, and like they're doing research, and
Yeah,
they're
are.
making so many great advances with what are they called?
Prosthetics.
Thank you. Prosthetics and
Yeah.
and wheelchairs and accessibility, and to see that and showcase that is a really cool thing. We also have Clearwater Underground Water Conservation District coming.
Yep.
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't say it once.
They have an educational trailer, and it goes into depth about our aquifer system here in Central Texas. So that's going to be a really great opportunity for learning as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
outdoor
wonderful.
awareness and conservation is also part of our mission.
Yes.
So mark your calendar for the 2nd of October to toddle on over to Salado
And,
for
and,
lots
and,
of fun.
And stay at the Stagecoach Inn if you
Stay
can.
at the Stagecoach and make a little weekend of it, and you will be so happy you did that. Well, I like to end these visits with a questionnaire. It's similar to the one the late great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor's Studio. And Tiffany, you've done this.
Yeah, you made me cry on that one too, Ian.
So I'm going to kind of point these Katie's way because
Okay.
she's
Yeah.
never done a podcast
Yeah,
before
oh my
too.
gosh.
So
So
I'm excited. Oh, I'm super excited
yeah.
now.
So far, it hadn't been too painful. I think you've been pretty comfortable with this. So we're going to start out. What is your favorite word?
Oh man, my favorite word is community, and I just use it all the time. I'm constantly thinking about it, and I'm so grateful for the community that we have in the town that we chose to live in. When I met Tiffany and some other women in Salado, it felt like I'd found my tribe, which is, I think, a word that you used to use all the time. And it's just this community that is so important. During 2020 and this pandemic, we lost touch with so many people, and it was really, really hard. And it took me about 18 months to realize, oh, I'm missing my community. And so, networking or just calling a friend that I haven't talked to or haven't seen, and reaching out and holding a hand, and it's so important to me. And so everything that we try to do at Barrow Brewing Company is building community. Am I talking too much?
No,
I'm going to talk all day about this one, because when we opened our doors, my husband was very intentional, and he ordered. We found these German beer garden tables in Round Top.
Oh yeah.
They're narrower than normal dining tables, and so it pushes people closer together. They have longer benches than our standard American picnic tables, so you can fit more people at these tables, and it creates community.
Intimacy.
Yeah, intimacy. And so, and what we've seen since opening our doors is people are making friends, and that they've lived in, I've heard this over and over. These people have lived in Salado for 20 years, and they didn't know anyone. They didn't have, and now they do. And so anything that builds community and creates community and supports that is my life right now.
Really important. Really important. What is your least favorite word?
What's your least favorite
Wish we
word
had this
today?
on camera.
Today.
Today.
Oh God. Pickle.
Okay.
I don't want to be in a pickle.
Nobody
I don't
wants
like
to be in a pickle.
I don't like saying
But that's
pickle.
fermented. Pickles are fermented. You should.
Well, you've all kind of touched on this. Katie, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh, dang. I should have used community for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, you've kind of.
Yeah. And it goes back to, I have a theme today, Anne. When turning on, I see artists and musicians that we host all the time at the brewery, and our own brewers and our staff. They're turned on, and I'm turned on when I'm connecting to someone on a different level. We're on the same bandwidth, and you can just you're in this bubble of intimacy, and you're just creating something, and you're feeding off of each other. And I see it over all the time in Salado. If you have any listeners that need to be recharged or, find their creativity, they just need to come hang out in Salado. Yeah. They're going to find somebody that they connect with. And it's exciting to watch it, and it's exciting to be in that bubble.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
I'm going to interrupt for just a second. Yeah. What do you call that Sunday event? The ale with philosophy with it. What's that event that you... you have speakers.
Yeah. During the summertime, we host the summer lecture series. It's between Memorial Day and
Pints and something.
Oh, Priest Pint?
Priest
Pint.
I was talking about both, but yeah.
Yeah. We try to host lectures, especially during the summer months when the college professors have a break. Mm-hmm. And we've had artists and authors and scientists come out, and we just geek out about
lots of things always happening in Salado. Oh, well, then what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
That's hard. I don't know. That's really hard.
You seem to be such an upbeat person. That's probably not a whole lot that brings you down, huh?
Sometimes you're just going to be met with someone that doesn't get your jokes or refuses
Crickets
to listen. Right. And if you're doing something, you're going to meet those people. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just can't connect, and it's really disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to keep moving on. You just have to keep pressing on, and that's been a hard lesson to have to learn as a small business owner. But
you're not going to please everybody.
No, and
you're just not.
Yeah, and you just have to work for your people, and talk to your audience, and your own people are out there.
Yeah. Oh, they are. What sound do you love the most?
Wind chimes.
Do you really?
Yeah. I know they can be a bane to some people's existence. But
I'm thinking about getting some, and I'm like, because I do like the sound of them.
Well, let me tell you, the Nature Co. in Salado has the best ones. We were testing them yesterday.
Okay, well, I need to come check those out, because that is something I'm thinking about. What is your least favorite sound?
Chewing.
Oh, somebody smacking their food.
Yes,
that would be. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. You're the first one that's come up with that.
That's a thing.
That is
like a condition.
No. Yeah. Yeah. There's some people that just really it annoys them badly. But.
Good thing I never eat around her. I only drink around her. I just drink.
Slurping.
Well, what other profession would you have liked to try?
Oh man, I have an answer for this. I would love to work at a nursery. Right. I love plants, and my mom has a green thumb, but I tend to kill everything. So I would love to try to work at a nursery and learn the secrets and the language of plants.
Very good. What do you know you would not want to do?
Your job.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. I'm fascinated because, you're a storyteller and
you're telling a story.
You draw things out of people. And that's really hard to do. It's, you've made this feel like a conversation. Like we just sat down and we're old friends, and you're so good at it.
Well, you're sweet. You're sweet. In fact, I had a guest not too long ago, because I've done, 75 people have answered these questions, and she grabbed the sheet. She goes, I'm going to ask you these questions.
Yeah.
And I never had anybody else.
I want your answers.
And she's on what turns you on. I thought, I hadn't thought about it. I just asked because I want to hear what other people say. But it dawned on me, this is what turns me on doing this, being able to hear those stories and hear folks kind of share their heart and their passion.
I wish people could see us right now, though, because you two are so amazingly beautiful inside and out.
I just want to hold your hands.
I know. I just feel like I'm sitting with the best in their field, and I just feel so lucky. Plus, you're wearing the best T-shirt I've ever seen. So
and I got my Sirena Fest shirt on. We'll take pictures. We'll have some pictures to support this. Okay, the last question. What do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, well, welcome home. Yeah.
Cheers.
You didn't do as bad as you thought. That would be nice.
Yeah, cheers.
I like cheers.
That would be swell.
I do too. This is great. Katie Hill with Barrow Brewing Company in Salado, and Tiffany Schreiner, who is the queen of Sirena Fest, the creator of Sirena Fest.
It takes a village. I'm just the little train that kind of thought she could.
And again, this is all happening starting bright and early on the 2nd of October in Salado.
Always the first Saturday in October.
But just, go on over to Salado anytime you think about it, because there's lots of their new places opening up. I discovered one. I'm going to go ahead and give them a plug, and it's the new Italian gelato.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
Vecchio Palino.
Oh,
yes.
you're brave to even try saying that.
And he is just charming and delightful. His wife, Honey, this is Morrow. He wouldn't tell me his last name. So
I don't know it either. I've been there every Sunday
What
since he's
mystery
opened.
man.
And he has an ice cream gelato with corn in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the sweet corn gelato. Unbelievable.
I love every flavor they have.
Yeah.
It's
And he just
dangerous for
opened-
me to go in there.
Just opened a couple of months ago. So,
Yeah.
Folks are coming to Salado, and we certainly hope that you will too.
And the one thing you've got to come sample ASAP, other than Barrow everything, Stagecoach has created mermaid water, and it is amazing.
All right. So immerse yourself in all things mermaid at Sirena Fest this year. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank
This
you,
was fun.
Ann, so much.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.